When we talk about the new England Patriots 2025 draft class, one word comes to mind: potential. There's a real sense around this group that something special might be brewing in Foxborough. It's not just about names or hype. There's a rawness to this class, a kind of unfinished energy that could be shaped into something dangerous with the right coaching and opportunity. And while several rookies have already started to turn heads, there's one player in particular who, if everything clicks, might become one of the biggest surprises in this draft. His name? Jared Wilson, center out of Georgia. And yes, it's time we start paying a lot more attention to him. Now, let's be clear, Jared Wilson didn't come into this draft as a complete unknown. In fact, heading into the pre-draft process, he was widely regarded as the top center available. But being the best center in a year, where the position group wasn't exactly deep or dominant, didn't guarantee a high selection. He ended up falling to the third round, which raised a few eyebrows but wasn't completely unexpected. That's the nature of playing center. It's not flashy. It's not the position that gets fans cheering on draft night. When teams think about building their offensive line, they usually prioritize tackles first, then guards, and then maybe, just maybe, they'll look to bring in a true center. Often, they just convert a guard into a center if he's got the football IQ and the feet to handle it. That's the reality of how the position is viewed across the league. But here's the thing. Jared Wilson is not your average center prospect. What makes him stand out isn't just his experience or pedigree. It's his athleticism, his explosiveness off the line, and the fact that he can flat out move for a guy his size. Standing 6'3" and weighing over 310 pounds, he ran an impressive 4.84 in the 40-yard dash at the combine. That is serious juice for someone playing in the trenches. And that speed, that footwork, gives him something that many centers don't have: recovery ability. If he misses a block or misreads a stunt, he's still got the quickness and agility to get back into position and save the play. That's not something you can teach. That's natural ability. And when you pair that with proper development, you get a guy who can anchor your line for years. But let's not sugarcoat it. Wilson comes with some question marks. He only had 1 year as a true starter at Georgia. 1 full season to really show what he could do. That's not a ton of tape. And in that 1 season, he dealt with a foot injury that kept him out a couple of games. So scouts didn't get a massive sample size to work with. But when he was on the field, he showed flashes of being able to hang with the best. And let's remember, even in what was considered a bit of a down year for Georgia, they still made the expanded 12-team playoff. That's still elite competition. You don't start on Georgia's offensive line by accident. That program doesn't hand out starting jobs. You earn them. So for Wilson to step into that role and hold it down, even if only for 1 year, says something about what kind of player he is. And that's exactly why the Patriots saw value in him in the third round. This isn't a pick where the front office is saying, this guy's going to walk in and start day one. No, this is a developmental pick. This is the kind of selection that's all about ceiling, about long-term impact. There's a vision here, a belief that Wilson, with the right coaching and time, could grow into a real cornerstone on this line. And if you look at how the Patriots have approached this offseason, that fits perfectly with the strategy. You bring in a guy like Will Campbell in the first round, boom, you got your left tackle of the future, plug and play. But then you follow it up with a guy like Wilson, who's more of a moldable piece. You give him a year to learn, grow, adapt to the NFL level, and then maybe he's ready to step into a bigger role. Now, part of what makes Wilson so intriguing is that he already does a lot of things well. His run blocking is aggressive and polished. He gets downhill with power and takes defenders out of the play. His hand placement is solid, and when he engages, he finishes. The weak point in his game right now is pass protection. That's where the coaching staff will really need to go to work. He's not awful in pass pro by any means, but there are moments, especially when dealing with blitzes or delayed stunts, where he can get caught off balance or allow interior pressure. That's something that can't happen consistently at the next level. And one particular area of concern is how he handles the zero technique. Those nose tackles lined up directly over the center. NFL level, nose guards are no joke. They're powerful, disruptive, and can wreck a play if the center can't hold his ground. Some scouts worry that Wilson doesn't have the lower body strength yet to consistently win those battles. and it's a fair concern. But again, that's why the Patriots took him when they did. These are not flaws that can't be addressed. They're not red flags, they're coaching points. They're parts of his game that, with time and reps, can improve. And what helps Wilson's case is the fact that he's walking into a situation where he'll be surrounded by experience. On his right, likely Mike Onwenu. On his left, possibly Cole Strange. Both of those guys have starting reps under their belts. They know the system. They understand the communication. And having two veterans flanking a young center can do wonders. It's not like the Patriots are throwing him in there between two rookies and hoping for the best. He'll have help, and that support structure could be a huge factor in how quickly he develops. There's also the depth chart to consider. Right now, Garrett Bradbury is penciled in as the starter. He's got the experience, and he's seen plenty of action over the years. But Bradbury isn't untouchable. He struggled at times last season, particularly with interior pressure, something that really disrupted the offense. If Wilson can progress faster than expected, there's absolutely a world where he pushes for that starting job before the season ends. Maybe not in week 1, but somewhere down the line, that's not out of the question. And let's not forget the broader context here. The Patriots, as a whole, look significantly better on both sides of the ball than they did last year. Offensively, there's been a clear effort to rebuild the line, give the quarterback more time, and create lanes for the run game. Defensively, they've added key pieces that should tighten things up. The team isn't just aiming to be competitive, they're aiming to surprise people. They were already in a lot of close games last season, and with a little more consistency and execution, they could have flipped several of those results. So now, with a softer schedule on paper and a much improved roster, expectations are starting to shift. The reality is Wilson's progress won't be an instant thing. It's going to take time. He might not be a starter at the beginning of the season, and that's perfectly okay. There's no rush. The Patriots have the luxury of being able to take their time with him, molding him into the player they know he can become. With a bit more coaching, some refinement in his technique, and continued development of his strength, Wilson has a real chance to become one of the best centers in the league. The question is, how quickly will he get there? What's also worth noting is that the center position is one of those spots where chemistry with the rest of the offensive line is crucial. Jared Wilson isn't just learning how to block individual players. He's learning how to communicate, how to read defenses, and how to work in sync with his guards and tackles. That's an adjustment that takes time, and with veterans around him like Onwenu and Strange, he'll have a solid support system. There's an inherent advantage in having experienced players on either side of him, as they'll help him learn the ropes and work through some of those growing pains that come with the territory. This is a perfect situation for Wilson to find his rhythm, and it could significantly expedite his development. And let's not forget that the Patriots are in a position where they need players like Wilson to step up. The team has made significant investments in its offensive line, and now it's time for those investments to pay off. The Patriots' offensive line has been a bit of a work in progress over the past few years, and now, with the additions of Wilson and other rookies, there's a real chance for them to establish dominance up front. For New England to take the next step, they need a strong, reliable offensive line that can protect the quarterback, open up running lanes, and allow the offense to function efficiently. Jared Wilson, with his physical tools and untapped potential, could very well be the piece they've been waiting for. The fact that he's getting the opportunity to learn behind some experienced players should only help him develop into a starting caliber center sooner rather than later. Another factor to consider is the competition for that starting role. As of now, Garrett Bradbury is the incumbent, but he's certainly not immune to losing his job if he doesn't perform. Bradbury had some struggles last season, and while he's got the experience, there's no guarantee he'll maintain that spot if Wilson comes in and shows he's ready to take on the responsibility. The Patriots have a strong enough coaching staff and a culture of competition that they won't just hand anyone a starting job based on past reputation. If Jared Wilson shows that he's the better player, Belichick won't hesitate to make the switch. That's one of the reasons why Wilson's situation is so interesting. He's got the tools to eventually overtake Bradbury, but it will come down to how quickly he can put everything together and prove he's the better option. Looking ahead to this season, it's hard to say for certain whether Wilson will start immediately or if it will take a bit longer for him to earn that role. but I think there's a real possibility that by mid-season, we could see him starting for the Patriots at center. That's how much potential I see in him. He's got the physical traits, the athleticism, and the work ethic to succeed at this level. And while there are certainly things to clean up, like his pass protection and his ability to handle zero-technique nose tackles, those are issues that could be worked on with time. Given the way the Patriots structure their program, I believe Wilson has the right environment to improve quickly. He's not just getting drafted into any random team. He's coming into a system that knows how to bring out the best in its players. The coaching staff, combined with the experienced veterans around him, creates a perfect storm for his development. One thing that stands out about Wilson is that he's not a finished product, and that's what makes him such an exciting prospect. Some players come into the league as polished products, ready to hit the ground running. Wilson is the opposite. He's got all the raw tools, but he needs the right guidance to put it all together. And the Patriots have the ability to provide that. The team has a history of taking players with less experience or raw talent and turning them into Pro Bowl caliber performers. Think back to guys like Logan Mankins or even David Andrews, players who weren't necessarily the most highly touted coming out of college, but with the right coaching and development, they turn into fixtures on the offensive line. Wilson has the potential to follow in their footsteps. Ultimately, the Patriots are in a unique position. With a roster that's been retooled on both sides of the ball, this could be the year that they make a real push in the AFC East. If Wilson can continue to develop and potentially emerge as a key contributor on the offensive line, that could go a long way in helping the Patriots make that leap. With a more favorable schedule ahead of them, the pieces are falling into place for this team to surprise a lot of people. And Jared Wilson could very well be one of those players who ends up being a big part of that surprise. So, will Jared Wilson be the starter for the Patriots sooner than expected? I think it's very possible. There's a lot to like about his game, and with the right development, I wouldn't be shocked if he emerges as the starting center by midseason. It's all about how quickly he can adapt, improve his weaknesses, and prove that he's ready for the NFL. Given his athleticism, his potential as a run blocker, and his ability to recover from mistakes, I believe Wilson has what it takes to succeed at the next level. It's just a matter of time before he puts it all together. And if he does, the Patriots' offensive line is going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a shocking twist that has sent ripples across the NFL landscape, star quarterback Josh Allen has signed a blockbuster contract with the New England Patriots. Known for his cannon arm, athleticism, and fiery competitiveness, Allen's move marks one of the most dramatic free agent shifts in recent memory, particularly considering the deep-rooted rivalry between his former team, the Buffalo Bills, and his new home in Foxborough. The Patriots, under head coach Jerod Mayo, have been aggressively seeking to rebuild their franchise in the post-Tom Brady era. By acquiring Allen, they have not only secured one of the league's elite quarterbacks, but also sent a bold message to the rest of the AFC East. New England is back in the business of winning. Details of the deal are staggering, with Allen reportedly signing a multi-year contract worth over $250 million, making him one of the highest-paid players in league history. Josh Allen had been the face of the Bills since being drafted in 2018, leading the team to multiple playoff appearances and becoming a fan favorite in Buffalo. His departure comes as a huge blow to the Bills Mafia, who have watched him grow into one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. While the reasons behind the sudden move remain partially unclear, insiders point to stalled contract renegotiations and Allen's desire for a fresh challenge with a new coaching staff as possible factors. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.